Welcome along, everybody, to a venue that was built for speed. Once an airfield, now one of the finest racetracks in the world. It's qualifying day here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
So then, already a weird looking order. Perez in first. The two Mercedes are next, actually, ahead of Verstappen, Leclerc, and then Alonso. Norris is finally in the top 10 because McLaren haven't really been doing that well to say they're the best team in this career mode. And then it's the two RBs, and then Ocon rounds out the top 10 so far. So we're gonna wait until everyone's gone out, and then we'll go out. So we've got our, bit of distance in between the cars. We don't have to worry about them re-overtaking us. So yeah, we'll be out on track soon.
Everyone ready? Okay, let's go.
And welcome to the stream to whoever has just joined. Of course,
Okay,
there's been
2
a
minutes left in this session, and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap, or that's qualifying over for us.
an
Drop to
update on
P20.
F1 today. To be fair, it already feels quite nice. I can't lie, I'm already telling like a difference in the handling. So I'm glad that they've finally fixed the handling after how many attempts at trying to fix it, but it does feel nice. I can't remember most of the main things, to be fair. The handling's one of them, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they've made it nicer, they've made it a lot nicer, which is good to know. It's good to feel as well. So then let's go for this lap. Start us off in Q1. Carlos Sainz in the RB goes quickest. Now it's Max Verstappen.
And we've been pushed down to P20.
Now our teammate Alonso goes quickest, so that's really a benchmark. Russell now quickest. As we go into Club and Vale corners, onto the Hamilton straight, across the line, and I'm pretty sure that's second place. Yep, second place in Q1, so we're up there once again in this car, so that's good to know. It's good to know where we are in terms of pace. Of course, it's only one session so far, and we are only 8 thousandths off Russell, so it's quite a close one already. But the knockouts in Q1 is kind of the usual. Albon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Sargent and Lance Stroll rounding off the grid. Zhou Guanyu actually gets through, so well done to him actually for beating Albon and either one of the Hasses, because Sauber have basically been nowhere since they've been repatched in like the first update, to kind of nerf them a little bit. So yeah, Zhou finally getting that performance up and getting himself into Q2. I doubt that he'll be able to do anything with it though, unless something happens. I'll check the comments now, guys. Oh, hi. Logan is out. He's out with his grandparents. It's just me until like, I don't know what time. But yeah. I've got work today, so I have to leave at some point. So then, that's the order. Actually, surprisingly, we've got Russell currently in the knockout zone with Gasly and Piastri, which is unlike Gasly. Usually he's the better Alpine, and of course Russell, he was quickest in Q1, so you'd expect him to not be down there. Piastri's kind of fell off a little bit in this qualifying, so, well, in this career mode even, I should say. He's kind of fell off, and the whole of McLaren actually have, because they're meant to be the quickest team out there, but you've got Piastri in 13th and Norris struggling to get in the top 10, so yeah, it's kind of weird what's going on at McLaren in this career mode. Maybe their drivers are just losing a lot of focus in the little rough patch that they had last season, so I don't know. Maybe it's a glitch with the game, it could be anything, knowing this game anyway. But we've got to try and get ourselves out of Q2. Not out of Q2, but into Q3 basically. Because that's our main aim, and of course it being the team's home race and our home race as well. We really want to do well, and I'm sure that Russell will have that in the back of his mind as well, that he wants to do well for his home race as well, get into that top 10 shootout. The same for Piastri really with his team. He'll want to do that for the team, so we've got a lot of contenders for Q3 actually. There's only really Zhou who, you know, probably won't get through unless he puts in a mega lap and finds the grip of a Red Bull in that Sauber, which I highly doubt it, but knowing this game and the glitches it has, we might see him first. So anyway, let's start this lap, and yeah, we'll see where everyone goes and who goes quickest and who gets knocked out. And Alonso, our teammate, goes from second to first in this session. Gasly's got into the top 10. Tsunoda's now in the top 10. Gasly's been knocked out now, that's it for him. Norris is in the top 11. Piastri is knocked out as well, he's P11, as you can see in the top left. It's just Russell now to really see anything from. And he gets through, knocks out the other Alpine of Ocon. So we are the only ones left to do the job and knock someone else out of this qualifying session. Let's see who it might be as we go towards the final section of the track. Brake as late as we can, still get the car slowed down and rotate it through the final corners. Bit wide there, across the line we go, and that is P2 again, I'm pretty sure. P3 this time, so we're around that podium mark at least, but let's see who we did knock out of that qualifying session. Oh wow. So once again we're not that far off, first place. So surprisingly there we've knocked out Charles Leclerc, and he's only been knocked out by 100th of a second, so that's, you know, it's really close. Of course, two Alpines, as I mentioned. Piastri not improved. Well, he did improve. He got into the top 10 momentarily, but he's been knocked down to P13 anyway, where he was before. Of course, Zhou rounded out that top 15. But we've got one Ferrari, one McLaren, both V-Carbs, both Mercedes, and both Red Bulls and both Aston Martins in this top 10. So yeah, as I've said this season so far, Ferrari have really been struggling. It's where they are on paper as well. It's either Tsunoda being knocked out or Leclerc gets knocked out, and it's a shame to see that, to be fair. That is the team that we're in secret negotiations with for next season. So we hope that they can kind of fix up a little bit before we arrive there, but we'll see how the season goes, and that'll determine whether we continue those talks with Ferrari. But actually, talking of Ferrari, Tsunoda's up there in third and only a 10th and a little bit off pole position. Norris is up in second, so he's proven that McLaren has actually got the pace. The two Mercedes are still ahead of Verstappen as well, who's actually got the same lap time as Carlos Sainz. Of course, Sainz, race winner in Spain a few streams ago. And then it's Perez and then Ricciardo. Ricciardo's completely off the pace there, 7/10. You know, the top 8 is separated by under 3. So, yeah, and he's not coming back out, I don't think, as well. So we'll go back out on track for our final lap of this whole quali session. I may do the race. I think I'll have enough time. Yeah, I'll have enough time. And yeah, Ricciardo's staying in that garage then. He doesn't feel like he can improve on that lap, which is kind of bad to say that Sainz is within that 3/10 of pole position. I think that this is anyone's game as well. This is anyone's pole position. So, of course, you got Russell, who was quickest in Q1. Then Alonso in Q2. Verstappen's always been up there. But now we've got Norris and Tsunoda up there as well. Two RBs look quick, but obviously there's one that's not coming out of the garage. Perez was quicker than Verstappen in the early stages of Q1. This is really anyone's pole position, and I'm quite excited to find out who it might be. It could even be us. It could, if we just perfect the lap. Because we've been around that top three, we just haven't been first so far. So, yeah, let's hope. Let's hope that we get a nice clean lap, and stick it on pole for our home race and the team's home race. So then, we'll see how the order shapes up as the lap goes on.
And that's just 30 seconds left in the session.
Alonso goes provisional pole of 25.8. No purple sectors so far. We've got to make it work through this section. And it's a 25.8, but it's a front row lockout for ourselves at Aston Martin. Fernando in P1, ourselves in P2. So great for the team. We've got one car ahead of us, and that is Alonso. And I did say at the start of the season, this is definitely going to be between me and Alonso throughout this season.
Be sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
There's your grid then. So Norris actually sticking it in P3, Russell in P4, ahead of Verstappen, who's in P5, only 2 thousandths ahead of Carlos Sainz, the man who we matched a time with. Then it's Hamilton in P7, Tsunoda P8, Perez in P9, and of course Ricciardo, who stayed in the garage, in P10. 1.1 off the pace in the end of that. So Alonso found a 4/10 improvement to go pole position. You know, we're the only two that have set a 25.8 lap time. That just shows the pace of our car and the skill of the drivers as well, because we're literally less than half a tenth off Alonso as well. So a close quali. We didn't get that P1 to make it a 1, 2, 3 in each session, but nonetheless we've got a race to do, and that's where the points are. So a good quali, an exciting quali actually. And of course Tsunoda, our rival in the ratings, has we move up to level 83. So then, the chance of rain does increase towards the end of the race, but it does say that there's not going to be any rain. This is an approximate weather forecast, so we could still have rain, basically, is what it's saying. That will definitely mix things up at the end. So let's get into it straight away.
Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. The 3.6 mile long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Edwards lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Verstappen, Sainz, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Perez, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Albon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Stroll, and Zhou Guanyu. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
So, interestingly, it's not a front row lockout. Fernando Alonso takes a grid penalty for a component change. He starts P11, but that means that we are on pole position for our home race. So then, we're basically controlling this. We've got Norris alongside, Russell right behind us as well. So it's a British 1-2-3, like in real life. But yeah, that's the grid then. Also taking a grid penalty was Zhou. After getting himself into Q2, he starts from the back of the grid. So unfortunate for him and Sauber. They both lock out the final grid, the final row on the grid, sorry. But that means Leclerc has been promoted into the top 10. And obviously everyone in the top 10 has been promoted up a position. So we've got Russell and Sainz starting on the mediums on the opposite strategy, and everyone else is on the soft tyres. So I don't know what they think is going to happen on those mediums, but let's find out. Let's find out. We'll go into the race. So to the 5 red lights we go then. And it's lights out. Norris gets a great start compared to us. It's a bit of a slow one for us, but a perfect one for Lando. He's already ahead into turn 1 and 2. We're going to look down the inside of turn 3 though, to send it back down the inside, keep him in the track limits, and now looking for the switch back into turn 4. Doesn't work though for us. We've got the whole of this straight now to try and keep in the slipstream, and to try and get past him. Going into sector 2 now, we dive to the inside and get past already, but can Lando do a switchback? No, he can't. He stays behind for the time being. But interestingly there, Verstappen and Sainz up to 3rd and 4th. Sainz on the medium compound. I would have said that Russell had a bad start because of those mediums, but Sainz on the mediums gets a great start to puts himself in P4 straight away. So yeah, Norris is keeping us honest here though, staying right behind us since we've overtook him, and he's not letting us get away, that's for sure. But here we go then, down the straight we go. Norris had the slipstream for a little bit there, probably using a bit of overtake to get alongside us, but he just can't make anything done off the move, as we had that inside line, the more superior line, through that corner I must say. And we round off the first lap of this British Grand Prix, still in the lead, even though we lost it at the start. There's a few bumps at Silverstone which is like delaying my turning for some reason, so I'm sure that needs to be fixed in the game. But yeah, DRS enabled of course, lap 2 now the activation of it. Instead of lap 3, a rule change in this season which sees that happen, but Norris is a bit further back than what he was before. It could leave him a bit vulnerable to Verstappen if Verstappen's got that overspeed anyway. So yeah, we'll just have to try and stay ahead though. Norris in the slipstream though towards Copse, down the national pit straight. And it's side by side. He's got that inside line. He nearly pushes us wide there. There's nearly contact between us both throughout Copse. And I don't know how we didn't make contact there, because he went so wide. Because he had such a tight turn in to the corner because of that inside line. But here we go then. DRS down this straight. This is the most powerful straight on the track. Verstappen also has a look, but Norris has gone straight off. He's locked up, he's come back on, and he's hit Sainz as well. I don't know if Sainz has got damage from that, but Norris down to P4 now, and now we've got Max Verstappen right behind us, trying to get this lead off us. And he sets the fastest lap as well, but so do many other drivers on the grid. But it's an absolute calamity for Norris there. He would have got the move done. It's a lot like in the real life race of Hungary, with Verstappen getting past Hamilton. He would have had that move done had he not have locked up. So yeah, a very odd mistake for Norris to make, but the pressure of it all, as Verstappen already goes for the move, going into sector 2, he touches us and he gives us floor damage there, so not ideal for us, as that's going to affect us on the way. That's going to affect us all the way to the end. We can't get that fixed no matter if there's a red flag or anything. So Verstappen really sabotaging my race here, putting me and Norris under pressure, and Norris when we get a big snap, and we've got to get used to this now with this floor damage. Of course, it's a loss of grip. The floor is like the main part of the aerodynamics, so yeah, it's not ideal. Verstappen gets ahead, but we send it back down the inside, keep it tight to the corner. He goes off the track, so realistically he should be giving us that place back. We send it down the inside of the final corner, squeeze him out, say thank you for that damage. Sainz is now getting through on Verstappen. Round the outside he goes, still side by side, and Sainz just about gets ahead now. We've got to start saving our ERS though, because we've been using it just to stay ahead, but Sainz on the medium compound really making it work in this race. That RB, probably as good as I remember it, to be fair, from last season with the tyres. So yeah, it's good to see. It's definitely good to see an RB up there on merit as well, and on the opposite compound to what everyone else is starting on but George Russell. You know, it's crazy. It really is crazy, and I like to see the bottom teams or the midfield teams start to fight for wins in career mode, because it just makes it a lot more exciting. And especially Sainz at an RB as well, like that's like the Toro Rosso days for Sainz, but once again we get a snap of oversteer. And now we're under threat from Carlos as we go down the hanger straight. We're going to send it back down the inside. Sainz goes off the track past the white line, and he leaves us minimal room there on the outside, and Sainz is your new race leader of the British Grand Prix. So once again we find Sainz in the lead of a race this season. He did that at Spain at his home race, and now he's looking to do it at our home race. Wow, this is definitely shaping up to be a great Grand Prix, this one. So don't go anywhere, that's for sure. As now we've got our first dose of DRS this whole race.
Okay, mate. Tyres are wearing at quite a rate here, mate. Please try and look after them.
So we've been given our first objective of the race. We've got to look after these tyres, but we've got to keep them under 37.29%. We're now at 19.32 average wear. So Verstappen looking at us towards Copse there.
Look out for a bit of understeer when trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
So of course the main thing to help our tyres is to get past Carlos and not fight too much, but we're already gaining towards the end of the hanger straight. We move to the inside. Sainz left us no other choice to go around the outside, but we're up into P1.
Good work, great pass.
And now it's time to start saving through these final corners, saving our ERS, saving our tyres as much as we can without putting too much stress on them. But we've got 3 laps now to go until this objective is complete. I don't think that we're going to do it. And there's a yellow flag behind us. We'll see what that is for, or who that is for, as it turns into, yeah, it must be an engine failure there for someone. It's looking like one of the Saubers. We'd just wait for confirmation of that. As Sainz now tries to re-overtake us for the lead of this race, and he goes quite deep on the brakes, nudges us out the way here. Verstappen is now alongside us, and it's Stroll.
Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal. They're retiring the car.
We get lots of oversteer coming out of that corner because of the floor damage. It's only lime, but it's making a difference. It's really making a difference here. We can feel it. But Lance Stroll in the Sauber is out of the British Grand Prix. Our first retirement of the race so far. And luckily it wasn't the Sauber who took penalties. Verstappen goes for a lunge in Beckett's there, which is a very weird place to make a move. But that's going to leave him vulnerable to the pack behind him. Russell's going for the move on Norris. Norris is on the inside, which is helping Verstappen here to not be overtook. Sainz leaves us minimal room once again round that inside line and the outside. Sorry, I got those mixed up there, but once again Sainz with the absolute defensive masterclass. I've never seen anything like this before. Sainz gets away by 7/10, nearly 8, to the next DRS, but we are in DRS and that's crucial. As long as we can stay here, then that is the main thing, because otherwise we're really vulnerable to Verstappen. Sainz is starting to get away then. Those medium tyres starting to work a lot better as Russell completed the move on Lando. So those medium tyres definitely working for the guys who started on them. So maybe they haven't made a mistake with the strategy. If they go hards later as well, and our mediums start to run out, then, you know, they've got the advantage, because they've got the fresher tyres. Verstappen's going to the inside of Copse though, and it's very close. He does tag us there, and it was nearly a carbon copy of what happened in 2021. Just the roles have kind of been reversed here. Verstappen on the inside, but he tagged us there, and it's lucky that the damage model isn't realistic, because our rear tyre would have flew off there as he gets past us down the hanger straight with a DRS. Russell's going to go through as well, and he might go through on Verstappen too. No, he stays back, and we're down to 4th. We've been demoted massively here in this race. We've gone from the lead to P4 because of this floor damage with Verstappen, and you know, Verstappen really sabotaging our race here. Gives us that floor damage, of course, early on, and now he tags us through Copse, which made us lose a lot of momentum towards Maggots and Beckett, but hopefully he's not in the DRS of Sainz, so hopefully myself and Russell can start to get past Verstappen. Russell definitely, because he's on those medium tyres, but it just shows the tyre difference here. As he goes to the inside of Verstappen there, was very close to contact through the corner where Verstappen gave us line floor damage. Russell's hanging it round the outside, and towards Copse they go now. Russell is ahead of Verstappen. Norris is trying to get back past us, of course. Our early rival in this race started on the front row with us. We're kind of in similar situations here. But yeah, Sainz is getting away with this one now on those medium tyres. Russell might be doing the same if Verstappen doesn't get back at him down this straight, but I doubt it, because that Red Bull is a rocket ship in a straight line. Here it goes then. Verstappen down the inside. We can maybe go down the inside of Russell. We send it down the inside. Bit of oversteer. It's not helping us in this battle. But now towards Club, Russell gives us plenty of space compared to what Sainz did on 2 occasions, and we're through back up into the podium places, but we've lost touch of Verstappen straight away.
Gap to your teammate behind, 2.5 seconds.
So no DRS for us. Russell looked to send it to the inside there. He's given us false moves, trying to put us off a little bit, but we've got 1 lap left of this target. We might actually do it. I'm not sure though. We'll see. But there goes Russell, back past us, and yeah, I think that we're just going to have to hang this one back, wait until our pit lap, and yeah, try and have the best in and out lap as we can. Try and get an undercut on these guys. We've also got to try and stay ahead of Norris. We don't want that to be another car that we have to overtake in the pit stops. So yeah, Verstappen doing quite well on that soft rubber, but it's only a matter of time until this man in front of us, George Russell, catches up. We have got the overspeed though, and the slipstream, and the DRS, and not really the ERS, but we've used it anyway. And we're up the inside and back up into P3. Norris is under threat from Tsunoda. So that's really weird, because obviously in qualifying, I was on about Ferrari. They've really lost their pace in this career mode. So have McLaren.
Really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
So we gain experience now from that objective being completed. I'm really surprised that we kept our tyre wear under average of 37 point, what was it, 29 or something like that? I don't know, but I'm really surprised at that, because our tyres are absolutely cooked. It's literally the right side that has saved us from failing that objective. Russell gets back past us again towards the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2. The whole grid are still all together. There's only one car not here, And that's Stroll, who is our only retirement so far of this British Grand Prix. Now Norris is going to the inside of Copse, like what Verstappen did. We're gonna, oh, we get pushed off the track there to try and give him space, as we don't want to be tagged once more and hurt our momentum towards Maggots and Beckett. So yeah, a bit risky through Copse, I can't lie, but we were ahead on both occasions, so we have to hang it in there. Basically, we get past Russell. We are going to actually box this lap, as I can't put up with this no more, to be completely honest, as we're the first one to pull the trigger and try this undercut strategy. So let's make it a good pit stop, Aston Martin. Let's not mess it up, and let's get back out there and gain a few positions from this undercut. And it's a 2.4 stop. It was expected to be a 2.5, but it's a 2.4, so a tenth. You never know, it could gain us a position. So it doesn't look like a lot, but it could.
Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres.
As we're really struggling already to get the heat into the tyres. Coming out of the pit lane. But now we've got to make the most of this out lap. Of course, we've got clean air, so we've got to make the most of it as well. We're going to put ourselves in hot lap mode. I've always found that is best on an out lap.
I know you spent some time off track, but let's see if we can bring it back. Keep it tidy as much as you can, please.
Right, well, we've only been off track once, to be fair, Mark, and that was because a car was on our inside at Copse, and I didn't exactly want to, you know, be Verstappen. So, yeah, a bit of an odd objective. I've never had that before. We've got to spend less than 1 second off the track, so that should be easy. I wonder what we'll gain from this objective, so it'll probably be awareness or something. Norris now sets the fastest lap on those soft tyres. Very weird one. Verstappen's in the pits though, so he's covering us off. He's the only one to actually, the only one to cover us off. So Red Bull have responded, and it's going to be close on the exit. It's very close on the exit. Side by side stuff. We're going to try and stay behind for the DRS, but he broke first, so he's got the DRS, but we are ahead of Max Verstappen, and that just shows that the undercut has worked on one car at least, and all the rest have stayed out an extra lap. So just imagine how far ahead we're going to be. We're on fresh mediums, of course. Russell and Sainz, their mediums are going to be starting to start to sweat, to be fair, as it gets towards the end of their stint. So we're on the fresher mediums. We should realistically jump them in the pit lane. But Verstappen looked to the inside of Copse again there. We're not going to let that one happen. Not after the last time. Obviously this is a quieter part of the race, as we don't know what's going on in the pits. We only know what's going on in the pits when we get to the pit exit, as Verstappen tries to lunge towards the inside there, but doesn't make anything of it. But everyone else is now in the pits. Well, not everyone, but most of the people are. As we set the fastest lap by 5/10.
Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 19.4 seconds.
And we're ahead of Norris by a country mile. So it's working for us, it's working. We have got like a couple of lap extra old mediums now compared to the rest, but we've got track position. That is the main thing. We're staying ahead of Verstappen as well, even though he's got the DRS. We are in hot lap mode still until everyone has made their pit stop. It's just a thing that I do. I don't know if anyone else does it, but it always works best when you're on fresh tyres. Put it in hot lap mode as soon as you come out those pits and you've got the tyre temp. And yeah, you'll fly by. So it's just a recipe basically to making this undercut work. Quite a few things involved. But now this should be the lap where everyone else starts to pit, apart from the mediums of Sainz and Russell, unless they're going onto the hard tyres. But if they're going soft, then they will be pitting around. We pit lap 10, so we've got another.
Really good job on hitting that target, mate. Nice work. Still a long way to go, though.
As I was saying, and Russell and Sainz have pit in actually, so I don't need to do that maths anymore. And we've massively overcut them. They're on those hard tyres, and Russell's actually overcut Sainz, so Sainz may be a problem in the pit stop. But we are back up into the lead officially of our home race. We've got to keep defending now from Verstappen as he goes to the inside of the end of sector 1. He actually keeps it on the racing line this time instead of bashing into the side of our car and giving us damage. So yeah, it's good to actually stay ahead of him as we run down towards Copse. He goes to the outside. That's a bit off track there from Verstappen. Side by side through Copse. We're on the inside this time. We keep it tight to the corner, doing what Verstappen couldn't do a couple of laps ago. And we keep this lead. But down the Hanger Straight, he's going to have the DRS. So we're going to enable Hot Lap off the back of Beckett and try. And that's an interesting radio message. I did say at the start of this race, as Verstappen now goes for a move to the outside once more, we squeeze him out. I did say at the start of this race, it's approximate weather forecast. So, it did say on the weather forecast that it was a 49% chance of rain towards the end of this race. 15 minutes, there's a chance of rain. That's still approximate. That is still approximate, I might add. But there's a chance. There is a chance. So 15 minutes would be about well, it'll be about 3 laps before the end, I'd say, to be fair. Or would it? I'm not sure. It will be like, it'll be towards the end of this race as Verstappen goes for a fake send there, trying to put us off our racing line, but it doesn't work too much as Russell and Sainz have both battled. Norris has got past Russell and Sainz actually. I mean, it's Norris and Russell who are side by side, sorry. I didn't see that on the map, but Norris, I'm pretty sure he went round the outside of that long right-hander. He'd already got Sainz previously, so yeah, as myself and Norris definitely making back up in this race after this pit stop. It's definitely worked for us, as now Verstappen's going to have another go at us. Down the Hanger Straight we go. He's going to pull to the outside as usual, doesn't actually go alongside us. He stays behind for another lap. We've got to save where we can, so we go into non-ERS mode for the final corners and go back into medium for the exit of it, so then we don't lose too much time, but we're still kind of saving compared to what we would be in hot lap mode.
Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
An interesting radio message then, as we now enable hot lap mode down the straight. So the tyre pressures are reading 0. Verstappen's going for a move once more towards the end of sector 1 and 2. He's actually ahead momentarily there. He's got the outside line, which will give more traction on the exit, as that is the racing line. He's ahead. And towards Copse we jump in the slipstream now in hot lap mode. Try and get the car turned in, but we're starting to feel that understeer effect of being in the dirty air. But we have got the advantage. We've got DRS down the Hanger Straight, which is what he's had for the past few laps now. But as I was saying about that radio message, very odd. I've known that radio message since like F1 2019, and it's a very odd one. I'm not sure what it's trying to imply there, so maybe it's something to do with our floor damage, or I don't know. I really don't know. It's like messed with the sensors or something on stuff, but I'm not entirely sure. As obviously we get past Verstappen nice and easily down the Hanger Straight. We're going to save our ERS as much as we can. We're doing quite well in this race now, really managing as it calms down, as Sainz has been overtook by Perez. So maybe a problem for the RB driver. He's not had the best luck except for in Spain, where we've won. As now Verstappen looks to the inside once more. We're going to push him all the way to that inside line. He hits us once more in that corner, which officially gave us the floor damage in the first place. But yeah, it's very touch and go from Verstappen. Very touch and go. As we're side by side going towards Copse. We've got that inside line. We've got that control. And we've got the race lead back. But it's advantage Verstappen as we go onto the Hanger Straight after Maggots and Beckett. He's going to have that DRS. So he might fly past us. He might not though. But he is quite close this time around. As he goes to the outside. He's alongside. Ahead momentarily. We've got the control of the corner as we're on the inside. And back up into P1 officially. Also, meanwhile behind, Russell has got back past Lando. So those hard tyres starting to work for Russell finally. And also the help of DRS for him and the slipstream, but Perez is getting involved in that battle too. Of course, we haven't really seen much of Alonso, who originally stuck it on pole position, but took a grid penalty in this race. We've not really heard too much about him, so I'm pretty sure he's behind the Ferraris. Let's just double check. Teammate status.
Gap to your teammate behind, 7.7 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. They're in 10th place. Your last lap time, 1 minute 29.4.
As Verstappen went to go for a move there, tried to squeeze us out there of that corner, so we do the same back to him in the long right-hander. I'm not sure of the names of the corners, by the way. That's why I'm just trying to describe the corner as best as possible. I only know Maggots and Beckett's Hanger Straight, Wellington Straight, and the Hamilton Straight, and Club and Vale, and Farm. I actually know quite a lot, actually. It's just a few corners that I get mixed up, but Verstappen flies past there. I'm pretty sure he's used all of his ERS there. Norris is back past Russell as well behind us. Perez not really getting too involved in that battle. He's not made an overtake on anyone just yet, but Verstappen now in the lead of this race. There's 8 laps to go officially, as we've got another objective here of an average lap time of a 1:32.4, which is pretty easy since our best lap is a 1:28.1, and the fastest lap I might add, so that's a bonus point coming our way so far towards the end of this race. We've just got to get to it. So yeah, let's stay in the DRS off Verstappen. We've got a lot of ERS to play with. We might actually use our overtake button for the first time in forever. Lovely song, that one. And we run towards Copse now, not as close as what we have been to Verstappen or what he's been to us. We use that overtake button. As I said, for the first time in a while. We've not had to use it, but we were draining our ERS quite significantly at the start of this race and in the first stint, but now it's a bit more calmer. But let's use it a bit more now as we go for the move. Easy done, and we're through and past.
Nice move, keep going.
And Russell and Perez are now battling, so I was saying Perez not really getting too involved in the battling, but now he's ahead of George Russell. Also, interestingly, Sainz has dropped back a further position in the RB. He is behind Hamilton now, I might add. So maybe the first stint for Sainz and Russell was a smart move. It was really smart. They were quickest. They had track position. But this second part, as Verstappen goes for the move once more. How many times have we seen this one? And he gets through as we tried to do a switchback, but it doesn't really work. But we get a better entry into the corner. He jolts the steering wheel as he thought we was completely alongside, so he tries to give us the room as we now go side by side towards Copse Corner. It's very close. Once more we go a bit wide into the corner, and I bet that Verstappen had flashbacks from that. I certainly did. And we keep the lead of this race, but we're wide, and that's going to affect our run all the way down this Hangar Straight. We're going to try and defend as aggressively as we can, push him all the way to the grass, and we stay alongside him because of that. And of course he's going to lift off, so he doesn't want to spin it on the grass. But all this is happening. Norris, look at that gap, 1.7 to the back of Verstappen, so we've got to watch out here. We could be under threat by 4 cars in total. Verstappen, Norris, Russell and Perez, so we've got the double dose of Red Bull, which we haven't had in real life or in the game, I might say. And yeah, it's going to be a fight right to the end either way, whether it's a 2-car fight, a 3-car, 4 or 5. The more the merrier, I say, as it's a battle for first. 5 cars battling for the lead. Who doesn't think that that's exciting? So yeah, just hopefully we come out on top of it, because we want this home win. I don't know if we did well at our home race last season when we was in that RB, but we'll have a look at the season results. As Verstappen hasn't really seemed like a threat this lap. He didn't get us down the Wellington Straight, sorry. And he's not gaining too much. Only because we went into non-ERS. But Russell's actually getting past Norris here. Norris and Russell side by side. Norris wins out that battle though. So, very interesting. They're going to hurt their own races. Yeah, they're going to hurt their own rate. Hopefully I don't get interrupted by Mark this time. Hopefully. They're going to ruin their own races if they keep battling, because they're not going to catch up to us. And with Verstappen not going for any sort of move that whole lap, then yeah, that could be costly for them. But this lap he is going to go for a move. And he goes to the inside once more, as we've seen plenty of times. We try and do the switchback move once more, but it doesn't work. Try and get the better entry again. Try and scare him off the racing line. Doesn't work that time. Norris is now in the DRS. And of course he's pulling Perez and Russell towards us in his DRS. So, yeah, our floor damage, we've learnt to mitigate it now, I reckon. We haven't had really many oversteer moments so far. We've nearly completed our 4th objective of this race, I'm pretty sure. As we get past Max, pretty textbook, simple. We're going to ask about the weather as soon as we get onto the pit straight. Typical British. About the weather. Weather report.
Okay, the static over the radio. Say it again.
Weather report.
It looks like rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So then, 4 laps to go. 5 minutes till rain. That means the rain will start coming down on the final lap. I don't know when on the final lap, whether it's towards the start, end, middle. It could be anywhere, basically. As we finally succeed at the switchback at the end of Sector 1. I'm pretty proud of that I've finally got that pulled off.
A few lap outs yet, but it is coming, so be careful.
The rain's a few lap outs yet, says Mark. I know what Logan would say if he was here. I know what Logan would say. But that rain is it's inbound. As he said, it's a few lap outs. As Norris is right behind this battle. He's going to go for the move on Verstappen. He's going to go for the move on me, maybe, as we brake later, so he doesn't get that chance. Norris is up the inside, turns into the outside line for Club and Vale of Verstappen. And they're still side by side. Norris is keeping his nose in there, making Verstappen go an extra, like, I don't know. He's making him go wider, let's just say that. I'm not going to do any measurements because I'm crap at them. So, towards the end of this race, it's starting to heat up now. It is definitely a 5-car battle for this race lead. I must say, though, the pack has done very well at staying together. The McLaren is actually trailing that big pack. And then you've got another 4 cars that are just separated. So, there's only 9 cars not in that train. And we're 5 of them. So it's a very interesting race at Silverstone, to say everyone's so close, but not really getting any moves done. But towards Copse now we go, and Norris is making it 3 wide. This is not going to end well. Verstappen's off the track. That's surely going to be a warning. It gives us the place. So yeah, not the best thing to do, Lando, to make it 3 wide into Copse. But you saw it at Hungary in real life in F2. If you haven't seen that, then go look it up. Behrman, Correa and Crawford, I think it was, all going 3 wide into turn 3 at Hungary, which I've never seen that before. You could probably not even fit cars, like 2 cars properly through there, but they all didn't make contact miraculously, just like just with that Copse situation. But Norris has actually backed off a little bit. I'm pretty sure he was alongside with Russell momentarily. So that's probably cost him a bit of time, a bit of momentum to go for this lead. Weather report.
Radar suggests some weather's going to hit in around 5 minutes time, so stay on your toes. Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now.
So apparently it's in 5 minutes. But he said it was inbound. So I reckon we're not going to get rain. It'll probably be towards the end of lap 26, which is a shame. Because if the rain was to start now, that would make it really interesting. The final lap would probably be wet. And everyone's on dry tyres, and it would just be absolute carnage, and no one would know who's going to win this race or even finish on the podium, probably. It would probably affect Russell and Sainz more because they're on the hard tyres, the least grippiest tyre of every compound. As Verstappen moves to the outside of the hanger straight once more, but we've had enough practice throughout the laps to keep that one ahead of Verstappen. As now we round the final corners to go on to the final lap of this race. Let's see how it all pans out. It's the final lap of the race. We're going to stay in hot lap mode for the whole of it though. No saving on a final lap in my rule book. But if that rain starts to come down now, it's definitely going to be a struggle through the final sector. That is for sure. But the whole pack has basically closed up to us 5. Verstappen's going to move to the inside. We push him really wide, really like close to the inside there. He actually doesn't go wide, which is a surprise there, as I've pushed him not really too much more to the inside, and he's gone quite wide into the corner. But Verstappen on the outside of Copse once more. We're going to do it one last time up the inside and through on Verstappen. Norris is going to get through as well. He's up into 2nd place, but they're side by side actually. Verstappen's coming back at him through Maggots and Beckett. Verstappen keeps ahead of Lando, but that's surely took the threat off us for this final hanger straight. As we go down it for the final time this race, they're closing as we run out of ERS. Verstappen really defensive against Lando. Lando goes to the inside of this fourth last corner, and Russell's even getting in there as well. He sends it off the inside of Norris and Verstappen. It's 3 wide momentarily. Verstappen keeps ahead. Russell is on the outside. Is he going to get him? And across the line, it was side by side, but we win. A fantastic British Grand Prix.
Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
Plenty of action here at Silverstone, a memorable race and an impressive victory.
To come here and take victory as a team today on home soil was so important. You can see how much it means to them. The drivers there doing their part, the team's strategy was perfect as well, and the fans really embraced that. What a great atmosphere we had here today.
The Aston Martin team will be very happy with today's performance. And of course, the final result. Another display of excellent driving and excellent teamwork. And a well-deserved first place finish. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So, in the end there was 6 thousandths between Verstappen and Russell. Russell going for that absolute send into the final corner on 2 drivers. He got it done on one, nearly got it done on the other at his home race, but he didn't get it, so it's a shame that he didn't get that done. That would have been a fantastic move, that would. But yeah, it's maximum points this weekend. But the main question is, what would have Fernando Alonso brought to that battle this race? He was meant to start on pole but took a grid penalty. What would he have brought to this race? The only one who was in the 125.8s in quali beside myself, and yeah, he was quick all weekend, but he just only made up 1 position. Still got a point for the team, which is great to see. But yeah, look how close this whole grid was. This is a 50% race, and the grid was separated by under 13 seconds. The whole grid. And the top 15 just under 5 seconds. And there was no safety car that race. No, there was only a yellow flag for Lance Stroll, who had a early retirement before the first pit stops. But let's see the championship then. We lead by 11 points over Charles Leclerc. Fernando Alonso in 3rd place. Hamilton and Russell quite matched on points there, with Verstappen as well in 4th, 5th and 6th. Perez and Lando Norris in 7th and 8th, quite close on points there as well. And Piastri and Sainz rounds out the top 10. And still yet to score points in this season is Zhou, Albon, Stroll, Magnussen, Sargent and Nico Hülkenberg. Now in the Constructors' Championship, we lead over Mercedes by 28 points. And Red Bull a further 55 points behind us. Then it's Ferrari in 4th place on 98 points, 71 points from the lead. And then McLaren 84 points behind us on 85 points. And obviously still yet to score is Sauber, Williams and Haas in the Constructors' Championship. But what a race that turned out to be. Yeah, it was so fun, I can't lie. That was the best race I have ever done on this game. No joke. There was no moment there where we weren't under threat by a driver, or like we didn't know who was going to win. But it turned out to be us, and I hoped that it would be us. So yeah, I'm immensely proud of that race, and that is going to be a standout of the season as well. in the whole of these live streams, and unless we get a mad race later on in the season, I can't see any race beating that one. Always great at Silverstone, always great. But our rating, of course, is gonna, well, our stats are even gonna go up. Probably not our rating though, as we're only at the start of level 83 yet. So our recognition then, 43% against 57, and yeah, not too much to say about that. Our objectives then, we get to level 3 on the manufacturing expert, and we succeeded every objective in that race, and the specialist goals as well. So it's a pretty washout weekend, to be fair. I don't think I've had such a perfect race before. But I am going to leave it there. I do need to start getting ready for work, because otherwise I'm going to be late. So I would not like that. But thank you to everyone who joined throughout that race. Even if you only stayed for a while, it does help me massively, and it gives me a lot of motivation to actually put some effort into commentating while I'm driving as well. So yeah, I'm glad that you joined me for that one. We had the full quali and the full race, so yeah, it was very exciting. I'm glad that I've streamed it as well, and it's on my channel forever now. So thank you everyone once again. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifs so you don't miss the next one, which will probably be later tonight, but it probably won't be. It'll probably be tomorrow. So yeah, thank you again. I hope you all enjoy your days, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully.